Hey everybody, welcome to Average Guy Opinions. I'm your average guy, John Corelli. Getting a little political again. Maybe it's the crisp fall air. Maybe it's the nut jobs coming out of the woodwork. Actually, they're not even coming out of the woodwork. They're already fully exposed. I just don't understand. Um, the obstructionist policies that the Republicans have taken for quite a while. And I want to talk a little bit in particular about Ted Cruz and what he's doing. And I find it really funny that Ted Cruz has taken the approach he's taken over the past 5 years. Back in 2016, he pretty much got punked out by Donald Trump. Donald Trump showed in the Republican campaign of 2016 that he did not care. He was not going to be polite. He was not going to take the high road, and he just went after people, and it worked. People apparently wanted that mean-spirited man to be our president, and so a lot of people, including Ted Cruz, have taken that to heart. And rather than acting like this country has any room for high-level discourse anymore, just are getting ridiculous. And I think there are some people like this on the Democratic side of the fence, but I'm going to be honest with you. I really think it's mostly the Republicans that do that, because they tend to favor people that are very reactionary. I mean, and not in a good way. like like look at Lauren Boebert here in Colorado, our representative. Look at um, oh gosh, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Um, I mean, she's ridiculous. I mean, she literally chased. It was a few months ago. She chased uh, Alexandria Ocasio Cortez in the chambers of the Capitol building, and wanted to, like, ran up behind her and called her a bitch, like she was going to fist fight her. Like, what happened? What happened to discourse in this country? A lot of people like to say, well, this country is a constitutional republic founded on Christianity. That's true to an extent. It was also it was also founded on a big belief in compromise, that we can work things out. And there are some things here that I don't like about this. If you look at the Federalist Papers versus the anti-federalism argument versus the federalism argument back in the 1800s, or excuse me, 1770s and 1780s. Those didn't make it into the 1800s, because by then and the reason it went into the 1780s is because people forget Constitution wasn't written until 1787, 11 years after we declared independence and won at a few five. I believe we finally won the war in 1781, but I got to check that. But be that as it may, this country was built on compromise, amongst many other things, including slavery and and theft, and some good things too, and a promise of a better life for many people that came over here. Sometimes that promise was fulfilled. Sometimes, let's be honest, it wasn't every time. But this, I think, at one point was the greatest country on the planet. We're still the richest. We're still the most powerful, but you could argue we're not really the greatest anymore. Just based by the last 20 years and how we've often acted geopolitically. You could even say the last 100 years, but that was what helped put us on top, I guess, as conquest of smaller third world countries. We still do it, and frankly, other countries are just joining in. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent here, but we need tons of masks, right? Especially at a school. In a school, we're still in this pandemic, and a lot of kids don't have permanent masks, so we got to have masks ready. I mean, we could probably go through thousands a day, or at least hundreds a day. It's kind of sad, and God, I can't even imagine what the oceans are going to be like when all those masks roll in there. We might have a continent called Maskia. I don't know, but it's really insane. But I looked at one of the boxes. It's all made in China. We can't make masks here cheaply, really. So anyway, that kind of gets back to my point as far as us conquering other peoples, and that's why we're the richest. That's why we do the best. But I want to go further back, like I said, and say this country is built on compromise. And I also want to get back to my original thing, which I've taken about 4 minutes off of. Tom Cruise. Jesus, he might run for president too. I mean, Schwarzenegger kind of opened those doors back in California 15 years ago. Anyway, Ted Cruz, senator from Texas. like I said, got punked out by Donald Trump 5 years ago, and rather than take the high road, he now does he is he goes for the lowest common denominator in people, just like Trump does. And like I said, the Boberts and the Greens of this world are unfortunately doing a lot, and it's disappointing because the Republicans were always the party that, at least when I was growing up, acted like they had the high road and acted like they had moral superiority and family values and Christianity and all that. And it looks like it's just crumbling and it's all bullshit. And I remember thinking when I was a teenager, yeah, I'm not seeing a lot of these things even during the Reagan years. A lot of people are not acting like the upstanding Christian family values people that they're supposed to be. They're acting horribly a lot of times. So here's what Ted Cruz is doing currently, and it's pretty much unprecedented, even in the last administration. You thought it might have happened with when the tables were flipped when Trump was president. I would have expected a lot of fighting by Democratic senators to not allow cabinet nominees to maybe get through or make it very difficult. Didn't happen a lot. There were a few that were fought, but now Ted Cruz and some other senators that aren't as big a name, not the marquee names that Ted Cruz is. He is making it his mission just to be an obstructionist. He is, because there's an article apparently in the Constitution that senatorial approval of cabinet members can be a thing, and so he's making it a thing. It doesn't have to be. It traditionally hasn't been, but he's making it difficult just for Biden to put together a cabinet. We're 7, 8, 9 months into the administration now, and this man still has to go through people to get his cabinet members assigned, and it's really hurting us. I read an article about it. It's hurting us on a global front because there are no ambassadors to some countries because that's a cabinet post, and Ted Cruz has decided, I'm gonna be at the forefront of making this difficult, and it will be interesting to see, because then they're saying that he's doing this to help kind of start his 2024 presidential run, which seems like a good idea when almost like Plato's cave theory. When you're surrounded by like-minded people, yeah, this is a good idea. Yeah, fuck Biden. Well, you got to remember he did win the election, and so a lot of people, especially that voted for him, will probably say, well, screw the next guy that goes against him, especially if it's a guy who's just leading obstructionist policies that's going to keep this country in gridlock for another 4 years. So I think, when you're surrounded, when you're in the great state of Texas, and you're told, yeah, everything you're doing is great, and yeah, fuck the blue states and fuck Biden, and you hear that enough, you're going to think, yeah, I actually can make a presidential run. Well, okay, got news for you, Ted. I'd be surprised if you won, honestly, especially if Biden calls you out on the bullshit you've done just these first 8 months of the presidency. And this is, like I said, this is unprecedented. It's a big deal that he is fighting cabinet posts. It's absolutely absurd. I mean, there are sometimes there are some, like if the Department of Defense guy, somebody super important, is not qualified. Yeah, I would want some senators to go, no, this isn't the guy. But it's like I said, it's ambassadorships, some of which are important. He's also fighting this because this is an irony that I love, is Biden's has decided to let Russia finish its pipeline. It goes from Russia to, I forgot where, but somewhere in Eastern Europe. And this is actually, in a roundabout way, to help our relations with the Ukraine, which Russia and the Ukraine have had issues for a very long time. If you know some of the ins and outs of it, they're horrific, including poisonings of Ukrainian presidents by Putin operatives. It's not even bullshit. It's a well-known fact. It's horrible, and but anyway, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place on this. But yeah, so he's supporting. That's why it's an irony, right? Didn't a certain president get impeached the first time? Our last president. Let's be plain about it, about his collusion with the Russians and Putin, and now all of a sudden Cruz is like very pro-Russian still, and so that I think that would hurt him in an election. I also think having a beard hurts him. It's really dumb, but if you look at we've had five out of 46, now 47. Excuse me, one of 46 presidents, 5. That's barely 10% of our presidents have had a beard. Lincoln, Grant, and they were all before 1900s, except for maybe one. So yeah, don't Cruz. You better lose the beard if you want to win the election, and you better start compromising because half the people in this country, plus 7 million, voted for the other guy last time. So I don't know. That was rambling. I don't know if you learned anything. I don't know if I said anything, but I had to get something out. So here we are. I'll see you guys next time. Much love, happiness wherever you are, whenever you are. Talk soon. Bye.